Welcome to the 2017 Poddy Awards. I'm here to introduce the winner of the Best Theme Park Podcast, Woman Beatty.
It's time to announce the winner of the Poddy for the Best Theme Park Podcast. The nominees are Disney Dreamgirls, DisneyBrit, Unofficial Universal Orlando, and Dis After Dark. And the winner is Dis After Dark.
A win right out of the blue for Dis After Dark. New lead host Nick, also known as Soap Dish, has been trying to change the format of the show, and it looks like it has paid off as he makes his way to the stage to collect the rewards.
Well, thank you. Thanks to Mr. Boniface, who came up to me with the idea of Dis After Dark, and was there from the beginning. Miss Dolan, who's been there after the first few episodes and remained ever since. Craig, who is always pushing us along to do our best and produce some good work. And of course, my new co-hosts, the talented Mr. Ripley, beautiful Amanda, and P-Dubs himself, Paul Washington. I like to think of it as a team effort, but at the same time, I do a lot of the work. So thank you. Thank you for voting for us, and thank you for your support. Hey, who's this?
Whoa! Hang on there, Nicholas. There seems to have been a bit of a mix-up. I wouldn't get too excited just yet, because it turns out the winner of the best podcast is actually the Unofficial Universal Orlando Podcast. Of course, was there ever any doubt? So, sorry, it wasn't Dis After Dark. So, awesome. Yeah, we're the winners. Go on then, off you go, pet.
Malaby.
The Dis After Dark podcast is sponsored by HHNUnofficial.com, the home of Halloween Horror Nights news and rumors all year round. Find us on the web at www.hhnunofficial.com. So stop the fog machines and clear the cobwebs. It's time for another episode of the podcast that's nearly the same as all the others.
Warning. This show contains childish adult content and is intended for immature, mature audiences. Listener discretion is advised. The views spoken are ours and ours alone, not those of any other bugger. If you're easily offended, we strongly suggest finding another podcast. Everybody neat and pretty, then on with the show.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Dis After Dark. Craig, what episode is this?
Don't know.
Excellent. I am Nick, and this week, or this episode, I am joined by the aforementioned Mr. Craig Lucas.
Buongiorno.
Yes, he loves that Italian. The token female, Miss... All right, Chris Ripley. Yeah.
Good evening.
Chris Ripley is here. Amanda, you are also here.
I am.
You are. P-Dubs Paul Washington.
Hello.
He's joining us from his bed of sick. Not literally made of sick, thankfully.
Nice.
But, and, of course, what would Dis After Dark be without more than one Paul, Mr. Paul Dolan?
The token Scotsman.
The token
Or is it Welshman?
Well,
Saki Da.
I don't even know what's going on.
If you mix Welsh with Scottish, you get English.
Well, first of all, before we start talking about this Oscar special Dis After Dark,
It's going to be mixed up then.
I've got to talk about our dear Craig and his appearance on another podcast. Other podcasts are available on the Grim Grinning Ghosts. Sorry, Grim Grinning Hosts or the Grim Grinning Gays.
Gays.
And,
Gays, yeah.
And on that episode, after a pretty public appeal by them, to be honest.
Well, do you know, like cream, they say rises to the top.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, shit always sinks to the bottom. And if you get enough shit and put it together, you can get enough of them together, and that is the hosts of Grim Grinning Hosts.
Well, they pleaded for Craig and dear friend of the show, Mr. Lee Malaby, to do a duet. Not a biggie duet, but a duet of 500 Miles by the Proclaimers. And it is quite well, what you get a sight to behold. What is it when you've got something to hear? I don't know, but it's definitely something you need to experience.
Yeah, definitely.
And I've got to be honest, I was quite impressed with Lee's pipes. I did tell him that the other day, but I did have to wonder what it would have sounded like had Mr. D been involved as a Scotsman.
Oh, aye.
Yeah. So maybe if people appeal enough, we can probably get Craig and Mr. D to do a version for our show.
Strangely enough, I sound like Peter Kay, his version.
Yeah, that's how I imagined it. Sort of Lee in the wheelchair and Craig pushing him.
And I wake up.
It was all modern technology brought it all together. So I was dancing around the living room with my iPad in one hand, my iPhone in the other hand, and literally I recorded it on my Apple headphones.
Yeah.
Into the voice recorder and just emailed it to Lee, and Lee did the rest.
Other products, of course, available.
No, they're not.
But
you can do one, Nick. You can literally do one.
Look, I'm just doing it for the state of balance. I'm doing this recording this on a MacBook Pro, looking at my iPhone. So what can I say about stuff? Anyway, as this show goes out, we have just lived through another Oscars, which was quite exciting. They're not normally that exciting, but it was pretty good. I think the host was very good. That's probably why it was so good. Other than the controversy, of course, which did add to the legend of it. And as me and the boss were talking about it this morning, Craig, that it's kind of made the Oscars a bit relevant again, in a way. Yeah. I know the Oscars is always a big thing, but the amount of headlines it got today because of the snafu has really kind of, I think, upped the ante in the popularity of it, or certainly the interest levels of the Oscars this year.
That La La Land producer was not happy.
No, how did they manage to get hold of the wrong envelope? Like, what kind of divvy gives someone the wrong envelope at the Oscars?
Well, I'm sorry, I was tired. Yeah. I was bloody tired. Yeah, well, apparently, because everyone... Well, my favourite thing is because it's Price Waterhouse Cooper, which I thought was a made-up company in Mad Men, but apparently not. And people are like going, well, get rid of them. They can't do it properly. And what people don't seem to realise is that they've actually done this for the last 82 Oscars.
What?
Or something. Yeah, this isn't like they've just brought somebody in to do it. They have been doing this for the Oscars for, almost forever. So it's the first time it's happened. Now, lots of speculation as to how it happened, how it could have possibly happened, and everything like that. It's pretty simple, actually. What they do is they have, for every category, they have 2 envelopes. And they have all of those envelopes at either side of the stage. So that means that if somebody is supposed to come from stage right but actually comes from stage left because something's overrun or whatever, they can still walk on with the envelope. So there's 2 lots of every category. What happened
for some unknown reason, is as Dick Tracy and Bonnie came out. Oh, come on, like no one else knows him for anything else. As they came out, he was given the envelope for Best Supporting Actress. And what happened was when he and obviously like they don't look at the front of the envelope. And when he's opened the envelope, because I mean he's getting on a bit as well, Dick Tracy. I love the fact he's still talking about doing a sequel to Dick Tracy, even though he's like 86. And you know he's opened it and it says Emma Stone for La La Land. So
I wouldn't like to be the little biff who was handed him that envelope.
Oh, well then they're not there this morning, are they? I mean they have not even shown up for work. You know, don't even bother. You know, and the thing is, like, you know, he's seen La La Land, looked over at the woman from King Kong 1975, and or 6, whatever it was, and kind of like gone, what do I do? And said La La Land, thinking that, you know, the page in front of him was slightly wrong, and, you know, he took the film title. And then it's only when like all the producers were scrambling around like, oh no, that it was apparent that it was just a colossal balls up. And that's it really. That's as simple as it gets. I couldn't work out though, like you said, the man like how annoyed the producer was. I couldn't work out if he was or he wasn't.
No, I feel like he was fuming.
He put on a fairly brave face about it. You know, I'll be proud to hand this trophy over, but yeah.
No, when he grabbed the envelope,
snatched it, didn't he?
He was fuming.
Yeah.
But I suppose the thing is, I mean, it's very embarrassing, and you know, well, let's just be grateful it happened that way round. Because could you imagine if they'd read out Moonlight had won, and it was actually La La Land? After everything that's been happening with the Oscars in the last few years, you know, that would have been even worse. So thankfully, it happened that way round. But yeah, I mean, it must be quite gutting. And what I don't get about the Oscars, right? So the director's won the Best Director for La La Land, right? And yet there's a better film. I never understand that. I don't get it.
Bruce Willis and Sybil Shepherd were pretty good in that programme, though.
Oh, you know,
well, it does seem like a long time to wait.
Yeah, and of course, was it Al Jarreau did the theme tune, and he just died the other week. So I think it's a lovely tribute to him that finally his work for the theme to Moonlighting is being recognised. So Amanda, you might have to Google that. No, indeed. Almost too late, but there you go. Anyway, that wasn't the only thing. I mean, we didn't want to just talk about the Oscars, but of course, Disney didn't have a bad night, I suppose. It did get Best Animated Feature, didn't it?
What for?
Zootopia. One of their films.
I haven't seen that one. I've only seen Zootropolis.
Oh, you funny man.
They're both good. They're both good in their own way.
Yeah.
Oh well. Because I haven't seen Moana. But
I like Moana.
Yeah.
Mona.
Hey, Mona. Ooh, Mona. This is the episode that Amanda will have to Google the most of any episode we've done. So far, we've referenced Moonlighting and Craig McLachlan, and you won't have a clue.
Tell you, Mona, what I want. Oh, I'm singing now. I'm going to do an album. I'm literally going to do an album.
Yeah, as long as you do it for charity, that's fine. We can't make our patrons pay for that. Yeah. So, Zootropolis or Zootopia, depending on where you are in the world. I liked it. My wife thought it was quite heavy-handed. But yeah, I quite enjoyed it. But I think people were generally a bit upset that that won over Kubo and the Two Strings.
I've heard that's amazing.
Yeah, everyone that's seen it has absolutely raved about it, and yeah, people seem to be more upset that won than.
What's that about?
It's about a guitar with two strings.
Oh God.
No, I don't know. It's a stop motion.
Give it an Oscar. Fucking hell.
It's a stop motion animated film. It's a company that did things like Coraline and Box Trolls and Paranorman and stuff like that. Their films are generally pretty good, actually. A lovely art style, but Kubo is one that everyone raved about, so I was surprised it didn't. And also, go on.
Oh, I was going to say, people were also whinging about Suicide Squad.
Oh, and rightfully
best makeup.
Yeah.
Rightfully so. How can that? How can Suicide Squad get away with winning an Oscar? It's just ridiculous. And did you know last night was the first they got the first Oscar for a Harry Potter film?
What?
And it didn't even star Harry Potter. Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them got best costume design.
Blimey.
And rightfully so, to be fair. I mean, that film, production-wise, was stunning. They did that really well. When we saw it, we wondered if it'd be nominated. But that's the first film in the Potter franchise that's actually got an Oscar, which is quite amazing. But Disney did win another award last night at the Oscars. The Jungle Book won an award.
Did it?
Yep.
For visual effects.
Visual effects.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm.
Did he?
It did.
They do, though, don't they?
They do, though, don't they, though? You should have said no doddy.
No doddy. Now, again, I don't want Amanda to Google too much. Her fingers are going to get sore. So, What are you laughing at that? Anyway.
Amanda knows who Ken Dodd is. He's
I
everyone's...
know Ken Dodd is.
Okay.
Have you heard about Ken Dodd's dad's dog?
I am.
Dead.
Oh. But Disney had a better Oscars than Dick Tracy. That's for sure. But I mean, we're now coming into the new film season. I mean, technically, the new film season, of course, starts on the 1st of January, but it's March time now when all the big films start to come out. Yes, Power Rangers, I'm looking at you. I'm joking.
What did Star Wars win?
Sweet FA.
Nothing.
That's a disgrace.
Yeah,
got nominated.
Yeah, I think Rogue One got nominated for a few Sound Awards.
Yeah.
And things like that. I mean, Star Wars films never generally... They might get nominated for effects. They might get nominated for sound editing or sound mixing or something like that. It's never any of the major awards. It's too lowbrow, isn't it? So, yeah, no, nothing for Star Wars. But, yeah, this is the start of the season. And one of the...
Season of the Force?
No, that's the next show, Craig.
Oh.
Getting too far ahead of yourself. This is a movie special.
Which we aren't recording next.
Yeah.
Can I just say, right, is anyone drinking?
Oh, for God's sake, Craig, well done.
All night.
I'm on the Coors Light. Cheers.
I'm on a Copperbug. Cheers.
Cherry Pepsi Max and behave myself tonight after Saturday shenanigans. It's great.
I've been on the rum.
Young, dumb, and full of rum. I say that every time now.
Band on the rum. Amanda?
Chris on the rum.
Amanda, Budweiser?
Obviously.
Obs.
P-Dubs, are you on the Night Nurse or the Lemsip?
Lemsip.
Yeah.
Oh,
you don't have Night Nurse
such
stuff.
a beaut.
I know.
Such a beaut.
Such a with a shot of vodka in it. It's his version of a hot
Bit of
toddy.
whiskey.
Do you remember that? Do you remember when I recorded a show drinking hot toddies? That was a fun show. I always
Remember when you recorded the show sitting in the back garden?
I do remember. Yeah, I do. Getting the neighbours looking out the window at me. Yeah, that was good times. Anyway, back onto topic. And it is the start of the big film releases. And Disney have got quite a few big films, I think, coming out this year. Cars 3, which no one should be interested in, but every time I see a trailer for it, it looks better and better.
It's a dream.
Last night's was great, the trailer that they released.
Oh,
oh my God.
I don't get why it's as dark as it is. I love the fact it's as dark as it is, but it's supposed to be a kiddie film. It's they've got balls to do it. I'm impressed. When I announced it, I had no interest in Cars 3 at all.
That's going to hurt if you've got balls and you're a car, because you're bombing along every time you go over a speed bump. Boink, boink. Oh!
Hollywood tape.
No wonder he crashed.
Can I just say, right, Cars Land, the cars in Cars Land, their animatronics are better than that Navi that they've released.
Yeah, you know what? That car attraction, I've only seen ride-on videos. I've not been out to California, but when I first saw them, I couldn't believe how good they looked.
Oh, they're amazing.
And that Navi, because they released a new trailer for Smurfland, Animal Kingdom, and that Navi animatronic, I cannot get my head around it. It looks quite scary, actually.
The one without any arms or body.
It's got shoulders.
Yeah, it cuts off just below the shoulders.
Yeah, we know it's definitely got shoulders. It could have arms.
It hasn't.
It hasn't got arms.
I've seen the picture, and it literally ends just below the chest and just below the shoulders.
Just like King Kong.
Yeah, just stick some foliage around it. No one will know.
He's armless.
That's exactly what they've done with the Navi.
Oh man, yeah, I thought was a bit disappointing, actually. As you say,
I can't remember what the Navi are. Are they the green things or the blue things?
The blue things.
Green things?
God. The Smurfers.
What's the green things?
Oh no, they're the trees, aren't they? Sorry.
There's about as much personality in the trees as there is in Sam Worthington, so...
I'd actually argue there's probably more acting talent in the tree than Sam Worthington. It's amazing how he's not made a film in 5 years, isn't it? Really.
Wrath of the Titans, that's what happens after you do that.
I was thinking more Terminator Salvation.
Well, yeah.
Ooh. The only time I've regretted actually paying £1 for a Blu-ray. Actually felt cheated. Yes, that doesn't look very good. That's for sure. But yeah, no, Cars is looking good. Is there another Disney animated film? Is Coco out at the end of the year?
Yes.
There's not even been a trailer release for that yet, which is quite surprising. But yeah, the rumours on that are that it's looking quite good. But until I see anything, I can't really pass judgment. And then we've got the massive superhero films of Thor Ragnarok, which it's a Thor film, so immediately you should lower your expectations. But it's got a really good director, so then maybe raise them a little bit, because those comedy bits they've been doing have been brilliant. Him and his roommate. And as long as they carry on like that, it'll be fine. Can't be any worse than Thor 2. Electric Boogaloo.
Thor for me has become the joke of the MCU.
Yeah, I can understand why. But it can't be worse than 2, that's for sure. And then, in April, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
That's the one.
They're releasing a new trailer tomorrow, which I'm not going to watch.
I am.
No, I cannot. I already know it's going to be great.
I am Groot. I am Groot. I am Groot.
My daughter asked me to put the trailer on again for her yesterday, because she was asking for Dancing Groot. We couldn't work out at first what she was asking for, but then we worked out it was Dancing Groot, so we put the trailer on for her again. Yeah, I just don't need to see any more of it. I just want to see the film. I just want to see the film.
Disney, was it Disney? It was all like these superhero movies. They put too many trailers out, don't they? Trailer 1, Trailer 2, Trailer 3, the pre-trailer trailer of the trailer. And basically, they did that with Batman vs Superman, didn't they?
They're doing it for all the big films now. I mean, Avengers 2, Age of Ultron, they had trailer. I think the first trailer was about a year before it came out, or a good 8-9 months before it came out. But yeah, basically, if you're a blockbuster film now, you're going to have 2 or 3 trailers. It's just too many, in my opinion. So yeah, I'm going to avoid it, but not because I'm not interested, just because I don't want anything more to be revealed. I just want to see the goddamn film. But in terms of traditional Disney, they're releasing one of its most, I'd say, controversial live-action remakes so far.
Dumbo.
Not this year. Not this year. And I can't believe they convinced Will Smith to play Dumbo. That's shocking.
Nick.
What?
He's pulled out. He's pulled out now.
See, Amanda.
He's not in it.
Gary Lineker's taking over.
Packed up his trunk.
Or Charlie. Prince Charlie. But no, controversial because they've remade one of Disney's most beloved animated films, and that, of course, is Beauty and the Beast, which comes out.
I didn't really like it. It's overrated for me.
March.
What?
Well, hang on. What the 1991 classic?
Yeah.
The first animated film to be nominated for the best film Oscar.
Yeah.
Crazy. You're a whopper.
What?
American and English listeners, Google that.
Yeah, I'm a whopper.
You're a whopper.
Look, it can't be as bad as E.T. Let's just carry on.
Oh, that's fucking God. That is there, boy.
Oh.
Listen, just gag out.
Anyway, I think Beauty and the Beast over the last year actually, since they first started releasing production photos, has really seemed to divide the Disney fan community. Some people are excited to see it. Other people think it's a complete abomination, based purely on trailers that have come out. And it's coming out in the UK and America, I think, the same time. The 17th of March, I believe, is the launch day for that. But we do have somebody whose opinion I do actually care about. You've actually seen the film.
We have an exclusive, don't we?
We do.
Your ma went to see it. Who went to see it?
Amanda.
I wish I wasn't special enough to get an invite.
Yeah, we've got to work on that.
If you lived up the road, I could have taken you, but
not a euphemism.
Yeah.
So Mr. Ripley,
yes,
got a very special invite.
I did
to go and see.
I thought they were. Are we allowed to swear on this podcast?
Well, Craig swore about 12 times.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a piss take when I got the invite originally, because I'm quite well known in the fan community as being a Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights historian and writer. So I couldn't really fathom why the first 1,000 people in the UK or in the world that they were going to show this film to, Disney thought, I know what we need to do. That geek that runs that Halloween Horror Nights website, let's invite him along. But maybe he thought, but he also goes on Dis After Dark.
That's what it was. I think it was the Dis After Dark connection, to be fair.
It could be. It could well be.
Definitely some woolly back behaviour going on. But
why?
It's just crazy. So go on.
So you want to hear about it?
Oh, aye.
Okay.
I pulled up a pew.
Okay.
Hey.
Well, it was a little bit of a, I wouldn't say a con, but a little bit of a fiddle was going on, because we was invited to the first world screening of Beauty and the Beast, the new film, and it was called the Gala Presentation, and that's all it was. It was said smart casual, no red carpet, no paparazzi, it's not a premiere, it's low key, don't tell everyone about it, just turn up and see the film. That's what we were told. So we get there, and there's lots of people there that, they're just wearing jeans and trainers and, usual stuff. And we get in and we're sitting down, and the film's meant to start, I think it was 7:30, and it didn't. And we kept waiting and waiting. And then suddenly these very, very hench-looking security guards with things in their ears and ill-fitting blazer jackets started appearing at all the fire exits. And then, because I was sitting I was on the end of an aisle near a fire exit, one of these security guards on the radio, I overheard, the talent are on their way, And
you thought I was turning up?
Well, I was thinking, hang on a minute, the talent's already here. Who are we waiting for? So it was at the Odeon in Leicester Square. And typically with that, if you go to a premiere, the people that have been invited, like the press and all the other people, sit on the stalls on the ground floor, and all the people, like the stars and all the production crew, all the important people, sit up on the first tier in the balcony. So while we were sitting there waiting, and as I heard the security guard say this, I look up at the balcony and there's loads of empty seats. So you put two and two together. I start looking at Twitter and I realise that they are having a premiere that evening, but it's in some mansion near Hyde Park. Then I was speaking to another chap in the auditorium, and it turned out that they had a fake premiere. So I don't know how much this is true, but a fake premiere at Hyde Park where they had a red carpet and they all turned up in their ball gowns and blah, 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 and all the paparazzi were there. And then as soon as they got inside this mansion in Hyde Park, they then jumped out the back into limousines and came straight to the Odeon to actually watch the film.
That's so much of a mess on.
Well, it is, isn't it? And I was talking to another chap afterwards, and he said to me that he thinks this was all Emma Watson's doing because she doesn't like being crowded by fans and the paps and all the other people. Yeah, that's what he...
They did the same with Doctor Strange, though.
Did they?
Yeah, because I went down because there was meant to be a premiere, and when we got there, they said, "Oh no, we're not doing one."
Right.
There's a fan screening this evening.
Yeah.
For people that have won it, but they're doing like a press evening, and it was at Westminster Cathedral.
Oh right.
And they did the press screening, and then they all turned up at the fan event.
Right. Okay. Well, when they did eventually turn up, they did go up and sit in the balcony and watch the film. So I can only imagine that this mansion in Hyde Park didn't have a handy cinema in the basement or enough space. Enough space to all sit around a VHS and watch it. So that we heard that, and then about 10 minutes later, the lights dimmed, and the little blonde Scottish lady who was on Radio 1 for a while. What was her name?
Edith Bowman.
Yeah, Edith Bowman came on stage.
Just to interrupt you there, I was at the premiere for Tron Legacy.
Yeah.
And Edith Bowman interviewed me on the live stream to talk about the Tron trainers that I was wearing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Did you get a copy of that?
No, but my friend was working in a post house a few months later, and the company, he was working for the company that did that, and it happened to be on one of their show reels. And he's like, "I've just seen you," and I was like, "Oh," because I had no idea that it was actually going out. I was told it was, but yeah, they did a live stream of the event.
Wow.
I don't own the footage myself, unfortunately. But if anyone does, email us.
I've heard that she does actually quite a few.
Yeah, she's her and Alex Zane.
Alex Zane, yeah, because I remember seeing the Spider-Man premiere, and it was Alex Zane was doing that one. Although strangely, Spectre had David Walliams. There's a fact for you.
I imagine that. I'm guessing it was probably because it was like a royal premiere.
Yeah.
Or something like Prince's Trust or something. So that would kind of make sense. But yeah, I know. Yeah.
Hey, Dis After Dark listeners. I want to invite you all to join us over on ScareZone, Halloween Horror Nights podcast. ScareZone is a news, interview, history, and commentary podcast all about Universal's premier Halloween event. It's hosted by fans and experts like me, Logan Seculo, former WWE superstar Scotty 2 Hottie, and Dis After Dark's own Chris Ripley. Subscribe however you get podcasts and head over to ScareZone.com for more information. We here at the show are proud supporters of Dis After Dark. And remember, keep your eyes closed and your ears open on ScareZone.
Okay. Yeah.
So she comes on, and I can't remember what she said. She was only on for very, very, only seconds. And then she introduced Bill Condon, who's the director of the film.
Yep.
And he came on to centre stage, and he spoke for probably about 5-10 minutes about the film. He said that they'd only finished production of the film in terms of post-production 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
He said for everyone that's been invited tonight, everybody, including all the production staff, this is probably the first time that anybody has seen this film other than myself and the editors. Yeah. So the pressure was on, really was on, because he said that they had to get it done because this was like their deadline and they'd missed a previous deadline or something. He also said that this film is very much an English film or a British film. He said that it was filmed almost entirely in Britain. The cast is mostly British people. And although the story is a wholly famous French story, fairy tale, if you like, he said that because of the way in which the UK government supported the film, tax credits, cough, cough. I think that's what he was getting at. That he wanted to make it as English as he possibly could. So, take from that what you will. I think that was just maybe he was just saying that because everyone in the audience was mostly British. I know there was a few international reporters there.
Do you not think it could be the fact that until Donald Trump got elected, that the world hated France?
Or everyone in America now wants to be English again.
Yes.
That could be the other idea. So then he finished speaking, and then he introduced the two producers of the film, who nobody had heard of, and they came on, and they just said, "We're so proud to be part of this production. We're glad that Disney finally pushed the button on it, because they've been toying with the idea for quite a long time, supposedly. Mm-hmm. Going back around the millennium, it had been sort of muted about, but they finally pushed the button on it." And then he said, "Ladies and gentlemen, Alan Menken." Wow. So, and he was the original guy that did all the songs, and he came back to do all the songs for this one.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, so he said that he completely ignored the Broadway show that he produced. He said he went back to the original subject material, and he expanded and slightly altered and sort of updated as well a lot of the songs. And he said that also a lot of the songs that he wrote for the West End show, the Broadway show, he said we didn't use them. We actually wrote some new ones. So it's got a lot of the old songs that are sort of extended and probably better in many ways, if you can call them better, and some of these new songs that he's written specifically for this film.
Wow.
And it is quite musically, I mean, I would say this film is a musical rather than it being a Disney film that has songs. Because there is a lot of songs. And I thought that was one of the problems with films like Cinderella. You're expecting to hear those classic, iconic tunes, aren't you? Mm. And they didn't have them in it. I mean, Jungle Book, I think, had 2 or 3.
Yeah.
But this film has all those songs from the original, plus more. And I think that is a really, really good idea, because a lot of these Disney films are so iconic because of their soundtracks. So to ignore the soundtrack, I think, is a big mistake on these remakes that they've done.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't remember. I couldn't imagine if they did. And I know there's been talk of like doing The Little Mermaid. I know there's a rival production that's not Disney that they're talking about doing a live action Little Mermaid. But if they did a Disney live action Little Mermaid film without the songs, I just don't think it would work.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Good.
Definitely.
Good.
So this is, I think, if this film is successful, which I don't know if I said it on this podcast or where I said it, but I remember saying last year, I think this film will be the highest grossing film for Disney this year. And I still think that. I'm even more confident that this film will be their highest grossing film, because it is absolutely fantastic.
You do know that Star Wars Episode 8 is coming out this year, though?
Yes, Star Wars Episode 8. I think Beauty and the Beast will top that.
Wow.
Yeah. It is that good. Anyway, Alan Menken was talking at length about the soundtrack. He then introduced Sir Ian McKellen. He came on, said 2 lines, and then he introduced Stanley Tucci. And I've got a story about him. I'll come back to him. He then introduced Emma Thompson. Emma Thompson introduced the little boy that played Chip. Chip introduced Gaston, and all the girls in the audience started going crazy. Gaston, the actor, he then introduced, is it Josh Gates?
Josh Gad.
Gad.
Yeah.
And he's a really funny guy. And he when he did his bit, because they were introducing each other, so then he did. And the guy that ruined Christmas for Downton Abbey, Dan Stevens. And he came on, and then he introduced Emma Watson. And then she spoke for about 5 or 10 minutes about how this was her childhood dream, essentially, because this is her favourite film ever.
Mm.
This is her dream role. I mean, she said that. And that she couldn't believe, once she'd signed the contract and was actually in the costume on day one doing the thing, that her sort of 7-year-old self would have seen herself grow up to play this character that she as a child absolutely adored.
Yeah.
She said, I knew all the words to the songs, you know, I know the story back to front. And she was so passionate about this project, which sometimes with her, you don't get that. When I've seen her in interviews talking about Harry Potter, you don't see her talking that passionately, but talking about this film, she was incredibly passionate.
Well, I'm sure I remember seeing or reading an interview rather than seeing, but back in the early Potter days, so I'm talking maybe film 2 or 3, where that question was asked, and she said, I would, if they ever made a live action Beauty and the Beast, that would be my dream role. So, I don't think that's hyperbole. I think that is completely genuine.
So do I.
And I think the fact that, can you imagine? It's like me wanting to be Luke Skywalker, and 30, I become like a bit of an actor, and 30 years later, I become Luke Skywalker in a remake of Star Wars or another Star Wars film or something. You wouldn't be able to convince your little self that could even be possible. So for that to actually happen to you must be incredible. Even if you're, I'm not an actor, but even if you're an actor, the chance of you actually being able to get your dream role from when you were a child has got to be such a low percentage. So I'm really pleased that it's worked out in that regard.
Oh yeah, and I'm still waiting for the phone call from the BBC to take over the role as Doctor Who, but I don't know if it'll ever.
You don't like Tilda Swinton enough.
Exactly. So when she came on stage, when Dan Stevens introduced her, everyone was shouting and cheering, and people were going, "We love you," and all this sort of stuff. And I was like, "Why didn't you do your voice on Gringotts?"
Yes.
I did say that, and I did get a few people look at me going, "What the fuck are you talking about?" So then they all went off the stage, and then the film started, and it follows exactly the same storyline as the original. As I said, the songs are all expanded, and they're all really perfect. All the singing voices are all top drawer. The only one I thought wasn't as good as the original in terms of the songs was the iconic one that Angela Lansbury sung.
Oh, Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, the main overture song when they're dancing, because Emma Thompson sings it. But the only thing I picked up on was Angela Lansbury when she sang it was, what's the opening line again? The tale is old as time. That one.
Yeah.
And she does it in that sort of Cockney accent, and then she sort of breaks that and sings in her normal singing voice. And I think that's brilliant. But Emma Thompson sang in a fake Cockney accent for the whole thing.
Yeah.
So she's obviously told to do that, but I think that may have been a mistake on their part. But anyway, in terms of all the other stuff, the film is incredibly funny. It doesn't borrow any jokes really from the original. They're all completely new. A few of the characters, their characterization is developed further, so they're sort of more 3D, and they take on different. For example, Josh Gad's role as Lefroux, is it? Lefroux, isn't it? Yeah. Is so much more funnier and so rich than what that original one was. And it takes on. I won't spoil it too much, but there's this kind of. Does he fancy Gaston, or is he kind of like Gaston's best friend? You don't really know. And Josh sort of plays up to that. And there's lots of physical comedy with falling over and stuff like that. And then when they sing the Gaston song in the tavern, for example, that is very similar to the song that's in the original film. The only thing that's different about his tavern is they don't have that same big iconic chair that Gaston sits on. Yeah, I know. I don't know why they didn't have that, because Magic Kingdoms, they've got one there, haven't they?
That's the bit of the film that I'm most excited for. I love Gaston.
Yeah, and he does it very well, that actor, whose name I can't remember.
Luke Evans. Yeah.
Yes, that's it. And he actually sings really well. I was actually very surprised who plays Lumiere.
Okay. Because
anyone know?
Yeah, I do.
Ewan McGregor.
Yeah, Ewan McGregor, who's a famous Scot, doing a French accent.
He's fluent in French.
Yeah, I heard this. Is that true?
His wife's French.
Oh, okay. Well, he does a very good French accent, and he sounds very similar to the original, actually, I'd say.
Okay.
Whereas Ian McKenna, his one is Ian McKellen. His voice is very different, I think, to the original Cogsworth.
Yes.
And then they have some new characters as well. There's a few different actors and actresses who there's one that plays like a large wardrobe that you only briefly see in the original, but you see quite a lot of that character. And then Lumiere's girlfriend, who's the like feather duster, you see quite a lot of her as well.
Can I make a guess at who plays the large wardrobe?
You can.
Is it Miranda Hart?
No.
Because I can just imagine her as a massive wardrobe. Oh, clumsy me!
Yeah. No, I think the lady that plays him, I could be wrong. I think she won the American X Factor. I could be wrong though.
Is the Beast all CGI or is he Muppet?
To be honest with you, I think he was all CGI, but I couldn't tell.
Yeah.
It was that good.
Oh, right.
I think he had to be CGI because the Beast has those weird legs.
Like the close-up shots, was any of them like Muppet or? No,
I think they were all CGI.
See, I'm not sure. I don't know if it was I mean, the legs definitely will be. It'll probably be a job of him wearing some green trousers.
Yeah.
But and I don't know for sure, but I thought that the face, the head was made up.
It could have been. It could have been.
It looks good, whatever. I mean, I've got to say, I think it looks really good.
I think the problem is with these kind of events is you get stuck wherever you get stuck. And I was sort of third row from the front, right next to the toilets. And it's not the best view to watch something. So I need to pay and go back and see it again. I really do. But I couldn't tell, to be honest with you. Yeah, so you've got all the original songs, lots of action. There's loads of action in the film, and a lot of the scenes where there are sort of suspenseful things and action and that sort of thing, those have been expanded, so they play very, very well, better than the original. There's also a few new characters, as I said, like with the items in the castle, but other characters that are new to the picture that sort of move the story on and make the story a little bit more believable than in the original film. And there isn't any bad performances in the film. Everybody, even Kevin Kline, who I don't rate, even he actually does a very good performance playing her father.
Oh, I like Kevin Kline. I mean, I don't like all of his film choices, Wild Wild West.
No, but I like him, but he's gone a bit Robert De Niro. You know, where they don't care anymore?
Yeah, well, he's married to Phoebe Cates, so yeah, I'd probably feel the same way as well.
Are you messing?
What? What? Who? Me?
Yeah.
What? Phoebe Cates?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's why she gave up acting to look after become a full-time mum, basically, for their kids.
Oh, yeah. That's sweet. That.
And she's still really stunning.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. Oh, so beautiful. Still. I'd say more so now than in Gremlins.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So I don't know what more I can say, really, without ruining the film for everybody. Is there any questions? Do you know what? I didn't, but I looked round and there were people sobbing.
Oh, my God.
Heart of Stone.
They were. I was no. I'm okay, but there were people because you know how all these films have a happy ending. This film, honest to God, was the first time I thought Disney's going to really screw this up and not have a happy ending. And I was like, oh my God, no. And I'm looking around, and there's these people going, oh my God, the Beast, he was so heroic, and blah blah blah. You know, and then obviously you know what happens. But the other thing as well, and maybe it was because of the venue we were in, but there were songs and sequences, particularly the Be Our Guest sequence, where people were clapping and cheering.
Wow.
The audience, particularly all of us groundlings, in the stalls were absolutely cheering our hearts out during that sequence. And that sequence has been expanded. It's all CGI, as we know, but it was phenomenal. And they finally answer, and I think they did it wrong, but they finally answer what the grey stuff is. So if you see the film, it will tell you what the grey stuff is. But
Grout.
I don't think people at the Magic Kingdom will be very happy about this choice.
Is it grout?
No.
Oh.
It's not something you particularly want to eat, though.
It's beast snot.
No.
Brains. Is it brains?
No.
So
earwax.
Close.
Well, that's enough of a spoiler. So, you said I think you opened the floor for questions. So, one question that I have, and it's a question that has always another question that's divided the Disney community, is the name of the Beast when he's not the Beast. Do they actually refer to who he is when he's not the Beast?
At the start of the film, there's quite a long sequence that shows you why he was turned into the Beast, much more than the original film.
Mm-hmm.
So they may have mentioned what his name was, Prince something or other, but I can't remember off the top of my head what it was. I wasn't really looking for that, but they did explain his backstory, and you do, because of that, you do kind of sympathise with him. And you see the story of how he became that creature, and then essentially the film starts as the other one starts.
Is Harry Enfield in it?
Not that I saw.
So I thought I saw him in the opening Bell song. They released a clip of it the other week.
Yeah, no, he's not in that sequence at all. No.
Okay.
The Stanley Tucci, by the way.
Yes.
He plays is it a harpsichord? One of those old-fashioned pianos?
It's a piano, isn't it?
No, those like old classical Regency style ones. I don't think they're called a piano. Is it a harpsichord? People have to write us in. Right. Yeah, am I right? Yeah, well, he plays one of those in the actual. He actually plays it at the start of the sequence, and then he becomes that as the piece of furniture that he becomes.
Right.
But funny story with Stanley Tucci was a couple of years ago. Do you remember they had Monty Python at the O2?
Mm.
Well, we got tickets to go and see it, and we were sitting, because I paid for them, we were sitting literally in the back row at the O2 watching Monty Python. And it was a really good show, but we couldn't really see much of it just because we were so far back. And then a few days later, they said you could have really cheap tickets if you want to come again, because they had extended it, and not many people had bought tickets. So we thought, well, if we pay a slightly more money, we could go again. And we did, and we sat down near the front. And the reason I mention this is sitting down the front, there was not many, but there was a few like celebrities. I mean, there was Jimmy Carr, and every time there was a joke, you heard,
oh, he's such a blade.
Yeah,
literally, yeah. That makes me so angry.
Yeah. There was Eddie Izzard was there, but he went to every single showing of that show. He was in the audience. Yeah.
I love Eddie Izzard. I love Eddie Izzard.
I think did he not perform with them as well on one of the nights?
He may have gone on stage one night, yeah.
He's got a phenomenal leg in them high heels.
It's true.
He was there on a date with the girl that used to be Sylvester McCoy's companion in Doctor Who.
Sophie Aldred.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sophie Aldred.
Don't have a baby. That would be a beautiful baby.
One of my first crushes was Ace.
Yeah, I loved it.
Ding.
Ace was awesome.
Punching above his weight, like.
Anyway, Stanley Tucci was there, and he was sitting a few seats down from me. And I got up halfway and went to the loo, and it turned out that also Stanley Tucci had gone up to go to the loo at the same time. So I walk into the toilet, and Stanley Tucci comes up behind me.
Touches you.
We sort of nod at each other like a gentlemanly nod, as in, oh my fucking God, it's Stanley Tucci. So I'm standing next to him at the urinals, and I'm going, don't look at his penis, don't look at his penis, don't look at his penis. Because I'm standing next to an A-list celebrity, you know what I mean? Anyway, I didn't. And then we came out, and we sort of, I held the door open for him when we walked back to our seats, and we sort of nodded, and I didn't have the courage to say hello to him or anything. Anyway, during Beauty and the Beast, there was this section. I can't remember what section it was now, but it was a kind of. I think it's where Maurice, her father, gets attacked by the wolves. It was just after that, and then it was Belle and the Beast doing something, falling in love, basically. So I thought, all right, I know what's going to happen. I'm going to nip to the loo. Anyway, nip to the loo. I'm not making this up. Stanley Tucci held the door open for me. So I went, oh, deja vu. And he just looked at me and went, hi. And he just walked in.
Oh, you should have explained it. It would have been hilarious.
Oh, I know. I don't know why I got starstruck, but honest to God, I've never actually physically spoken to the man, but he's very courteous and he seems like a very nice man.
And he's got a really lovely knob.
I was going to say, never spoken to him, but looked at his cock.
I did look. No, I did.
I said, nice to see you and your knob again.
Oi, get your hands off my knob!
Can I touch your Tucci?
Stanley's Tucci goes in Emma Blunt's sister, so she's a national treasure. So watch yourselves.
Blimey. But he plays a very good part, which has been created in this film. Basically, this piano thing.
A knob.
Well, at least we got our show title.
It's only one.
Yeah, there we go.
That was gone.
So other than Stanley Tucci's penis, there's not much else really to talk about Beauty and the Beast without ruining it.
Did you see it in 2 dimensions or 3 dimensions?
Well, his penis would have been in. Oh, sorry. No.
You should have said, do you think my beast's a beauty?
He has been on the sherry tonight, hasn't he?
Oh, God.
No, I saw it in 2D.
Saw it in 2D. Okay. Because it's the first. Jungle Book was 3D as well, wasn't it? It's the first kind of princess film that's been filmed in 3D, because Maleficent, it wasn't really a princess film in my opinion, and Cinderella wasn't. But I'm interested to.
But I can say this: I think it is better than the original film.
Oh dear!
I honestly.
Oh. Echo.
So I think you should definitely go and see it. And I'm not just saying that because I got a compo ticket. It is genuinely a brilliant film.
You're paying to see it again.
So Pop After Dark, we grade all our movies out of 100. Because I don't believe in none of this 3 out of 5 and all that palaver. I get angry. So out of 100, what are you giving it?
89.
Oh, that's very specific.
I like it.
That's why we went with the 100, you see, because it can be specific.
I like it. Right, and so for our other sponsor of the show, we have Wendy Prater at Magical Journeys Travel.
We do. Yeah.
The very beautiful looking Wendy Prater. Is she on your to-do list? Like if you meet her in real life, you're allowed to.
She's when you open the wallet.
Yeah.
She's the picture in my wallet.
I get you. But other than our lust for Wendy, her and her Magical Journeys are there to help you plan your next Disney vacation. So whether that's a Disney cruise or a trip to Disney World, Wendy can help you by getting your reservations at midnight, getting those all-important Be Our Guest dining reservations, or meet and greets with Anna and Elsa. And I think if you quote this podcast, Craig, get a bit of a discount on your deposit, don't you?
Yeah, $25 off, yeah.
There you go. So, next time you want to book a holiday, give Wendy at Magical Journey Travels a little tinkle at wpmagicjourneys.com or on Twitter at wpmagicjourneys.
God bless Wendy and all that sailing it.
Well, you know what? I'm not gonna. I'm gonna pull my soapbox out and I'm gonna stand on it, but I'm not gonna unleash the full wrath.
You haven't got the full wrath in you anymore. You're a bit of a soft lad now.
Thank you. I'm being polite. There's been far too many knob jokes tonight for me to try and
I was going to
rise
say,
to the occasion.
Good job, Stanley Tucci was soft as well.
You'd have known if he wasn't, mainly because it sprayed everywhere. But so before you went to see this film, Chris, there was, and I've seen this a lot. I've seen lots of threads on Facebook, Disney Facebook groups and pages of people talking about the new Beauty and the Beast, and most of the opinion is, oh, it's not going to be very good because Emma Watson, have you seen her sing, blah, blah, all this kind of stuff, based purely on trailers, right? And
have you seen her doll?
Well,
it's all based on the doll.
Her Justin Bieber doll. Yeah.
The Simon Weston of dolls.
Now, there have been some people that have said, right, and I this is where I jumped up. Some people have turned around and said this film is going to ruin the original film for them. This is what I said. Oh, boo hoo! This is ruining the original. Suck it up, Buttercup. The animated film.
I'm not going to get on my soapbox. I'm not going to be angry.
No, I didn't say I wasn't going to get angry. I wasn't going to do a full rant like I would do. I'm just reading out what I wrote back to some poor American lady. The animated film is still there, but hey, let's make a decision based on some trailers. Disney fans can be the best and worst at times. I don't want a shot-for-shot remake. I want an adaptation. No one is forcing you to watch it. I, for one, like the original and cannot wait to see this new interpretation. And my whole point is that I'm sick of people judging films just on trailers. That should give you an idea of whether or not it might be something you want to see. I get that. But people are just going, it's ruining the original. It's going to be terrible, based on a few trailers. And to be honest, I don't think the trailers have been bad at all. All trailers have actually made me want to go and see this film. But I think people have got this in their heads, oh, well, she doesn't look like how I'd want her to look like. Or it doesn't seem to follow the story in the same way. But like I said, I don't want a film to be the same. The Jungle Book was good, but it wasn't the same as the cartoon.
If you thought the Jungle Book was good, this is miles better.
Yeah. But do you know what I mean? Like, I don't want, when someone makes something in live action, I don't want to see the same thing with real people. I want to see a new version of that story.
And do you know what? That's exactly what they've done. They've expanded the story, they've expanded the songs, they've changed the lyrics, they've added more comedy. They've basically taken everything that the original needed and put it into this.
Yeah.
And it's worked, in my opinion.
Excellent. Well, I had another friend that saw it yesterday. They had another screening in Leicester Square yesterday. I think this is where Disney sometimes do free screenings, like to get a bit of publicity before the film officially comes out. And I messaged her and said, my friend's seen it. I called you a friend, Chris. Hope you don't mind.
Nah.
And
No
I said, my friend saw it the other day and said it was better than the original. Love to hear your thoughts. And she said, I completely agree.
Ooh.
Now, that's only two people. Admittedly, that's only two people. But for two people to have seen that film, and I don't think she's a massive Disney fan herself, but a fan of the original, and have turned around and said that they think they've taken what that film was and made it better, that's going to be a good sign.
I'm telling you now, it will make more money than the new Star Wars film.
Nah. Well, it will this year. This year it will.
Well, in total.
In total. We're having a 10p bet here.
10p bet, yeah.
Okay.
So you think it's going to make potentially almost
$2 billion.
$1.5 to $2 billion, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Wow.
If all the Harry Potter people go and see it, all the Disney people go and see it, you've got the streams of being cross people. It's just, it falls into so many great categories. Even people that like Stanley Tucci's penis, those people are going to go and see it.
That's all of us!
Emma Thompson is a Disney legend. All those people are going to go and see it. It just hits people love Alan Menken and all the stuff he does on stage. They all of these things, they're just ingredients to make something that will absolutely be brilliant, and it will drive people to the cinemas.
So basically, Mulan is going to have a lot to live up to.
Oh God, they probably even put that in the bin now.
Straight to DVD.
Yeah, probably.
Is there is any truth in the rumours that they've already started signing up for Beauty and the Beast, The Enchanted Christmas?
Not that I was aware.
They're actually getting, the next Beauty and the Beast film is the sequel, which of course is going to be Beauty and the Beast 2 Electric Boogaloo, is actually based on the old Linda Hamilton and Ron Perlman TV series, where the Beast will live in the sewers of New York, turn back into a beast, and she'll be a sassy cop on the other side of town.
On the other side of the law.
Is Emma Thompson a Disney legend?
No.
Emma Watson.
No, Emma Thompson. No, because Emma Thompson was P.L. Travers. It was P.L. Travers.
Yeah, she was P.L. Travers. I feel like she's done other stuff with Disney as well, but I think she should be a Disney legend.
Why is she in this as well?
She plays Mrs. Potts.
Ah, right, okay.
Yeah, so two Emmas in the same film. I know that's confusing. But
Emma Watson, though, don't you find her a bit wooden?
Not in this, she isn't. I have seen her in like Harry Potter and things like that, where she's quite wooden. But in this, she's really on point, and she has a really nice singing voice.
See, I think that's like you said there that you think it's going to appeal to the Harry Potter fans as well as the Beauty and the Beast fans. And what I think could be its downfall, unfortunately, is the fact that people that like Harry Potter might not necessarily want to see her in such an iconic role. And people that are Disney fans that have seen Harry Potter have already decided she's not a good actress. And so, but at the same time, I think the word of mouth on this, it will have a huge weekend, huge opening weekend. And I think the word of mouth will be what carries it through. But that's why I'm with Craig on his 10p bet that it's not going to make more buck than Star Wars, purely because I think it will be a slower burn, and I think people will try and not rush the cinema to see it, but will wait for it to come out. I won't be. I will be one of those people. We were discussing it. We were trying to go with some friends yesterday, but I think just me and the wife are going to go and see it, because trying to organise kids is just, to be babysit's too much.
Go on date night.
Well,
perfect date night film.
Well, I think, to be honest, our date night will probably be with our daughter, because she loves the cartoon, and she loves. Okay, so that's a good question actually. So my daughter's only just come up to 4. She loves the cartoon, but she does like the live action Alice in Wonderland film, for example. So she likes the cartoon version. So she doesn't mind an adaptation, like watching an adaptation. She understands it's different, everything like that. But so she's still quite young. Do you think it would be suitable to take her to this?
Has she seen the live action Jungle Book?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I would say that the parts that are scary in Beauty and the Beast are as scary as Jungle Book.
She didn't. Apparently, I didn't go with her, but my wife took her to go and see it, and she jumped. My wife jumped, but she didn't when Shere Khan jumped at the screen quite early on in the film.
Well, so, the only, and they appear a couple of times. The only things that are scary for a small child, I would say, is probably the wolves.
Yep.
In the forest, they're quite scary.
Okay.
But other than that, the rest of it, there's a lot of peril, there's a lot of suspense, and then there's huge amounts of comedy and slapstick and just loads of singing and really nice lyrical songs. So I think she would be okay with this.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I didn't want to have any other questions for Chris on this.
Nope. I'm just very excited to see it.
I'm literally going with 50 brownies and Girl Guides.
You better take some Kleenex with you, because they're all going to be bawling at the end of this.
Yeah.
Craig, I mean, that's. I mean, how long's the film, Chris? About 2 and a bit hours.
Yeah, it's quite a lengthy film.
That's an awful lot of brownies to eat in that time, though, Craig.
I'll smash that.
Excellent.
But I liked it that much that I'm going to go and pay and see it again. So, and I didn't say that about Jungle Book or. Yeah, in fact, the only film I've ever seen more than once at the cinema was Skyfall.
Wow. Skyfall, apple crumble. It's
I've still never seen Skyfall.
Oh, it is good, Craig. It is good. I actually quite like Spectre as well, actually, but Skyfall, especially coming off the back of Quantum of Solace, is very good film. Yeah,
all our expectations were so low. I think
it's probably the most rewatched Bond film that doesn't star Timothy Dalton.
Oh, controversial. We should do a Bond episode for Pop After Dark.
Oh yeah,
Craig,
I love that.
Jot it down. Next episode sorted.
Yeah, done.
Right, was there any other Disney movie news that anyone wanted to talk about tonight?
Oh, I have one brief thing I wanted to say. I went to the O2 and saw Jack Whitehall, and he just makes jokes about Disney and Disneyland all the way through.
Really?
Yeah, so if you like Jack Whitehall, if you like Disney, go and see Jack Whitehall.
Because funny enough, Ramesh Ranganathan, we got his stand-up DVD for Christmas, and he does a bit in there about going to Disneyland Paris.
Oh,
which we was quite surprised about. We think he's very funny. Because what it was, I know you mentioned the other day you was going, you said there was a bit of a Disney connection. I thought I knew what the Disney connection was that you was referring to, but I don't know. You didn't mention it. So did you know he was supposed to be in Frozen?
This is what he starts off by joking about. Because I thought he was in it, because a lot of Disney and Pixar films have a character who has one line, and then in every country, that person, like the famous people from that country, does that line. So, for example, Toy Story has got Andy Peters as the luggage man.
Oh no! Andy Peters is in every version. That's not a local thing.
Are you sure?
That's a rare one where it's true.
That's true.
Is that true? But at the same time, I know Cars. That Lewis Hamilton did the English version, and was it Michael Schumacher did another version?
Is this before or after the accident?
Before.
I was going to
say.
The
version I've got's got Schumacher on it.
Oh well, it might be the second one actually, but there is. I think Lewis Hamilton's only in. Yeah, we know it sucks, Craig. It really does suck. But yeah, I know Lewis Hamilton isn't in all the versions, but I may have got confused. I know Jeremy Clarkson does a voice in English Cars, but not in the American Cars.
Yeah, the American version is Jeremy Piven.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Why was that?
I don't know.
Just because his name was Jeremy?
Possibly, yeah. Maybe they just went for different versions of Jeremy across the world.
They booked the wrong bloke on the day.
Yeah, it could have been Carl.
So is he in the Frozen or not?
No.
He's not?
No, he's not in Frozen at all. No.
He did record a part and it got cut out. That's what he said.
Yes. Yeah. And I don't actually know. I when you watch it, I was trying to work out what part he could have had. And I thought maybe he could have been a troll. But there's a little boy right near the beginning when, after like the opening sequence, when it's the coronation day and the camera kind of pans through and there's a kid that says about, why do I have to dress up? And the mum says, oh, it's because it's a coronation. And he goes, that's not my fault. And I thought that I could imagine him playing that kind of role. It might have been the character might have been a bit too young for his voice. But
he said that part of it, they put him up in the Disneyland Hotel on site at Disneyland, the original Disneyland Hotel. And they gave him this gift basket or something in the room that had all this stuff in it, like Disney teddy bears and toys and stuff. And one of the things was a towel from the film Up. And he said that he grabbed the towel, went into the shower and had his shower, got out and was drying himself with the towel. And he realised that as he was flossing his ass crack, the bloke, the widow from Up, was staring at him in the towel. And he was like, I am so sorry for your loss while I clean my balls.
Oh, poor Carl.
But then at the end, he has this big Frozen number and he dresses up as Shrek. And it's all a bit random.
Yeah. Actually, saying about localised voices, Shrek 2 was the first time I noticed that in a film. and I found out that in the English version, Jonathan Ross plays a woman that looks a bit blokish, and it was Dennis Leary, I think, in the American version. But there's also a bit where there's like a bit of a red carpet. I can't remember. I've not seen Shrek 2 in a long time, but there was a red carpet type bit. There must have been someone's party or something. And the character very much looks like Joan Rivers, and he's voiced by Joan Rivers. But in the English version, it was Kate Thornton.
Ooh.
If anyone remembers her.
Blimey, is she still going?
I'm sure you see on Loose Women every now and again. I don't, because I don't watch it, because it's a load of cack.
You're in it.
I'm in the title. Loose. Yeah, so I know they do that quite often, but yeah, no, I don't think they've done that for a while now. Actually, I can't remember the last film. I think it was probably Cars was the last time. Well, I did hear a thing the other week. I think Kelly MacDonald was being interviewed, or they were talking about it because of Trainspotting 2. I didn't realise she voiced Merida in Brave, but she wasn't the first choice.
No, she wasn't.
Oh,
it was Reese Witherspoon.
Yeah,
which is quite.
What about
funny
Reese without a spoon?
Oh, well, that's exactly the joke I was going to make. One of my favourite.
I know you too well, mate.
One of my favourite memes is Reese Witherspoon, Reese without a spoon. That does crack me up. Yeah, and she couldn't get the Scottish accent. She couldn't nail it. So.
Blimey.
And then she voiced a singing pig in Sing. So everything came out Millhouse. Any more for any more?
No.
No. Well, that wraps up our Oscar Disney movie special. I think what we've learned from today's episode is go and see Beauty and the Beast.
Go and see Beauty and the Beast.
Stanley Tucci's dick.
And Scousers rule the world.
Yeah.
That sounds like a whopper. And on that bombshell, we'll see you with another Dis After Dark very soon.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Ta-da.
We hope you've enjoyed this podcast. If you would like to support Dis After Dark and the other After Dark Network podcasts, please visit our website at www.patreon.com/Dis After Dark. That's patreon.com/Dis After Dark. Thank you. This podcast is part of the After Dark Podcast.